Is the nation's capital becoming a lawless zone while those in power simply look the other way? As violent mobs of teenagers terrorize neighborhoods and turn local restaurants into battlegrounds, a leading candidate for mayor is facing a firestorm of criticism for a response that many are calling exactly backwards. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss our daily deep dives into the stories that the mainstream media often ignores. Let's get into the details. Just days ago, a shocking brawl broke out at a Chipotle in Washington D.C.'s Navy Yard neighborhood. Security footage shows roughly 8 adolescents throwing punches and hurling heavy restaurant furniture while terrified bystanders huddled in the corner. This wasn't an isolated incident. It's part of a growing trend of teen takeovers that have plagued areas like Navy Yard and Noma for years. These incidents are forcing businesses to close and draining precious police resources away from other emergencies. In the wake of this chaos, D.C. Mayoral candidate and City Council member Janice Lewis George, who has been dubbed DC's version of Zoran Mamdani, made a move that has left many residents and law enforcement experts stunned. During a recent mayoral debate, she didn't call for a crackdown or increased enforcement. Instead, she condemned the use of youth curfews, calling them dangerous. According to Lewis George, the real threat to young people isn't the violence they are committing, it's the federal troops and masked ICE agents who might enforce the law. She argued that these agents aren't trained in de-escalation and aren't accountable to the city. Instead of curfews, she's proposing an expansion of youth centers, apprenticeships, and summer employment programs, framing the issue as one of systemic neglect rather than individual accountability. However, the backlash was immediate and sharp. Charles Fane Lehman, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, didn't mince words. He told the media that Lewis George has the situation exactly backwards. His argument is simple. Public violence isn't a result of a lack of services or youth centers. It is the direct result of a system that fails to consistently enforce basic rules of conduct. When there are no consequences for throwing chairs at people in a restaurant, the violence only escalates. Lehman warned that this brand of anti-police rhetoric and skepticism toward the criminal justice system is likely to reignite a cycle of violence that cities worked for years to get under control. The stakes here couldn't be higher. We are talking about the safety of our nation's capital. When the leadership signals that enforcing the law against violent actors is dangerous, the signal sent to the streets is one of total permissiveness. Heritage Action spokesperson Stefani Bahajla hammered this point home, stating clearly that libraries and green spaces aren't the answer to violent mobs. She emphasized that D.C. has been plagued by poor leadership for decades, and that unchecked chaos is currently destroying the livelihoods of honest, working residents. When you look at this through the lens of national politics, it's a microcosm of a much larger divide. On one side, you have the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, represented by the DSA-backed candidates who believe that more government-funded social programs are the cure for criminal behavior. On the other side, you have a growing chorus of citizens and policy experts who believe that a city cannot function, let alone thrive, without basic law and order. If businesses are closing and residents are afraid to go out to dinner because of roving bands of brawling teens, the economic and social fabric of the city begins to tear. So, where do you stand on this? Do you believe that more social programs and youth outreach are the solution to ending this cycle of violence? Or is this exactly backwards logic that will only lead to more lawlessness? Is it time for D.C. to prioritize law and order over social experimentation? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. The situation in Washington is a canary in the coal mine for other major cities across the country. If the capital of the United States can't keep its restaurants safe, what hope is there for the rest of the nation? We will continue to track this story as it develops, so make sure you stay tuned and keep your notifications turned on. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.